Welcome to Gloria's Gab Live. I have with me today Kelley Shield, and Kelley is the president of the Villagers and this amazing organization who has certainly helped out so many important properties throughout Miami-Dade County. But in particular, the Coral Gables Women's Club, you've really, stepped up for us. So really appreciate that. And we've got a home tour coming up we're going to talk about. Before we start, though, I have to thank South Florida PBS. Week after week, they sponsor this show and allow us to introduce you to people doing great work in our community. And if you're not a member, they have some great free concert tickets that are coming up. Mannheim Steamroller, the Doo-Wop Project, Under the Street Lamp, River Dance, Il Volo, Fab Four, Straight No Chaser. So many great things coming up. And have you heard about the Da Vinci?
No, I haven't.
Interactive, immersive art experience.
Oh, wow.
It is fabulous. It's in Boynton Beach, and it's worth the drive. I promise you. And it's going all the way through April.
Oh,
so
great.
You've got plenty of time to go see it. But you've heard of the Van Gogh?
Yes.
Immersive?
We went to that, yes.
This is better. This is hands-on better. Anyway, so let's talk about what's coming up.
Yes.
December 7th?
Saturday, December 7th from 10 to 3, the home tour, our annual home tour.
And it's been going on for
58 years.
Amazing.
Yes, it's probably the longest home tour.
Yeah, the Villagers really is a trailblazer in that regard, because you probably were the first home tour.
Probably, yes.
Yeah,
definitely
and then
the
everybody
first
started
historic.
following you.
Yes,
and doing all kind of tours.
Yes,
and you have your garden tour coming up in March too.
Yes, March 8th.
Yeah. So everybody's replicating your success.
Yes, well, it is.
But I'm telling you, I've been to several of them, and I'm always blown away. And we were talking about some of the great things that you've had last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, but coming up this year, tell me about it.
Well, this year we decided to go to a different part of Miami, Shenandoah. Shenandoah is just south of 8th Street and north of Coral Way, and it's probably one of the oldest neighborhoods in Miami. It was one of the first suburbs in Miami.
Right.
So in the 20s, when people started moving out of downtown Miami, this is the suburb that they came to.
So then there's a ton of historic properties.
There's a ton of historic properties. It's also very layered. They had different decades, had different inhabitants. So in the beginning, it was people fleeing downtown, people that came to move to Miami and decided they wanted to raise their family in the suburbs.
Right. The suburbs. It's so funny to think
suburbs.
Of that.
It was all farmland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little ironic that the Villagers are honoring a neighborhood that actually they raised all the farmland and all the grapefruit trees. They had a bunch of fruit trees to build a development. So we're celebrating developers.
That's great.
Yes.
So everybody gathers at St. Sophia Greek Orthodox Church, and that's kind of your base for
the home base is St. Sophia Church on Coral Way, Greek Orthodox Church.
Yeah, and you really don't advertise where the home tours are until they get there. They get their maps and everything.
Yes, the individual homes, you'll get your map, and then you'll know exactly where they are. Yeah,
and people can go in their own cars.
And we also are going to have shuttle buses this year. Yes, because St. Sophia is a little drive from Shenandoah, and so we're going to have shuttle buses going throughout the day, hop on, hop off, which are free, part of your ticket.
Oh, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's innovative because as far as I know, you've never done that before, have you?
No, they did trolleys, I think, once when it was in the Gables. They used the trolleys. But yeah, this is something new.
Yeah, well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So all the work you do in the community, tell us about some of the things that this has funded in the past, because...
So this is our #1 fundraiser, and the money that we make in this year, we give to grants in the following year. And so this year, we're just getting ready. This week, we're going to approve our final list of grants, and it's $150,000 in grants that we're giving back to the community.
That's huge.
Yes, it is. It's probably one of our largest grant cycles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's very exciting.
It is.
So let's take a look at some of the houses that we're going to maybe see.
So
Rachel, our producer, thank you so much for doing this. We're just going to give you a sampling of Shenandoah.
So the neighborhood, also another reason why we decided to do the tour there is the neighborhood really is at risk. About 4 years ago, they had a study written by Dade Heritage Trust to become a historically designated neighborhood on the National Historic Registry. And the effort failed, unfortunately, because not everybody agrees that a blanket historic designation is good for property owners. So unfortunately, it passed. But what we're seeing now with the influx of new residents coming into Miami is a lot of the older homes are being bought, demolished, and then like sugar cube homes, no characteristic at all of the homes are being built on this property. So this home right here,
it's beautiful.
It was in the study. You can see the original picture on the left from 1927. And then on the right, that was a more recent picture from 2019. It looked like that about a month ago. And then can we see the lot, Rachel, maybe? And so about 3 weeks ago, this is what it looks like. And this is, yes.
Oh, no, that's so sad.
Yes. And
that beautiful home?
Yes. It went into disrepair. Nobody was living in it.
Oh.
And the city gave citations that it was, needed to be demolished, and that's what happened. And it's happening in that neighborhood at an alarmingly high rate.
Okay, so you're right. This is bring about awareness too.
Yeah, awareness and education of one of the first suburbs of Miami.
Well, I was just watching a show on these people that one couple came in and they had made a lot of money, I guess, and they went into what was formerly their hometown that only had 200 inhabitants at this point. It was a ghost town, and they started renovating the town, and they saved the town.
That's wonderful.
By one, going to a warehouse, a drugstore, all these closed up properties and putting new life into them.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Gloria. The buildings and neighborhoods are lost one home at a time or one building at a time, but they're also saved one building at a time.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that's wonderful.
So if you can bring about some awareness to this community, what a great idea you guys had.
And the neighbors and the homeowners are very excited to have the highlight of that.
I bet they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they love their homes. They love all the history in their homes.
And new arrivals to Miami really don't know about Shenandoah. You say it, you go, oh, yeah, I like that neighborhood. But I know first time I came to Miami, I had no clue,
Right.
Thank goodness we didn't buy the first thing we saw. Because
Yes.
after a while, you get to feel for the community and it. But that's such a gem. It
is. And it's always been a landing place for people immigrating to Miami, actually, from the very beginnings.
Is that right?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Yeah. So this picture was taken when?
This is before, you can see there's no homes there. So this is when the developers were putting in the streets, and this was something very different from downtown Miami. You can still see the fruit groves. So it was grapefruit plantation, grapefruit groves, orange groves, avocado groves, mango grove. The Hayden mango was first here. So one of the ads said the prettiest little neighborhood you'll ever see, which it was. It was beautiful. It had wide streets, all this grass, trees.
And fruit trees.
Trees. So here's one of the ads. The developers were Arthur and Manley. Manley was Marion Manley's brother. She was the first female architect in Florida. So they were giving Marion Manley. So they were giving away free crates of grapefruits, of course, from the trees that they were cutting down.
No.
Yes, and they also promised a fruit tree in every yard.
Oh,
and some of them still stand. Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, one of the homes has a mango from that time, a mango tree from that time.
Wow. That's pretty impressive. Yeah. So,
and there's one where one of the homes is built. This is 1923, so this would have been very soon after they started developing it. You can see the old whatever Model A or whatever car that is. Yeah. But yeah, the streets and the sidewalks, that was something that was, desirable for people with families. And a lot of the people moving in there, had several children. So they were moving out to the country.
Yeah. And they
on
they
8th
wanted
Street.
a place where the kids could play outside.
Yes,
and,
yes. And there was chickens and yes.
Oh my gosh. So how long have you been with the Villagers?
I've been with the Villagers since 2019, so about 5 years. It's a group I've always wanted to be a part of because I've always heard about them.
And the very first year you were at one of the houses welcoming people, I remember.
Yes.
And I go, what's Kelley doing here?
Yeah, it's a great group of ladies. It really is. I say ladies. We do also have men, but they're just hard working.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Somebody said,
Anybody
I don't want to
put on 2 huge events.
Yes, they are huge events. Yes,
Yeah,
and successfully.
all of it.
Oh, it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, at St. Sophia's, are you going to have like the little place where you can buy
We're
gifts?
going to have the boutique.
So much fun.
Yes, we have handmade angels. The Villagers are known for selling their angel ornaments, and they're all handmade. And the hours of labor that go into them, they're like little works of art. Breads, homemade breads, a quilt that someone made. It's things that you can't find anywhere else.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then also
plants?
other vendors. Plants, poinsettias.
I was going to say, we had plants, I remember.
Yes, people come just for the poinsettias, the big, huge poinsettias.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, my friend said, I need a ticket, I need my poinsettias. So, yeah. And a pop-up cafe with Rita.
Oh, with Rita.
Yes.
Yeah.
From
Well,
Birdie's Bistro.
Birdie Bistro, which used to be Burger Bob's, and always will be to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
AKA.
Yeah. And our catering.
Yes.
That is the busiest woman I know.
Oh, I know. And
I don't know how she juggles it all. And she's on the board of the Coral Gables Women's Club, as is Sasha, and they both have chairmanships. So on top of running all these businesses, she also volunteers her time.
And gives back to the community. Yeah, they really
amazing.
do. She does, yes.
So,
and then also at St. Sophia, there are going to be tours of the cathedral.
That'll be nice.
Yes. Father Spiro is going to be doing them himself, and it will be every half hour starting at 11:30. And the cathedral was completely refurbished and restored during COVID when they couldn't have services from artists from Greece. Yes. Yeah. And it is amazing. You'll think you're in Greece.
Is that right?
Yes, it's amazing.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I've been to that church, but the other one, the St. Peter and Paul, you were talking about.
Yes, right.
That one, I believe. Yeah. So you're in your earlier life, your first career before you became a full-time volunteer.
Yes.
Your nursing home.
Yeah, my family had the oldest nursing home in Miami, which I sold a little while ago, but I like to say I like old people and old places. Yeah. Because I really do. Yeah. It's like my passion.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the stories that they tell. And at the time that I was working there were a lot of World War II vets. There's fewer and fewer now.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Well, actually, one of the projects that the President's Projects, the president of the Florida General Federation of Women's Club, her project is to do one of the honor flights, but they're doing an honor flight specifically for women who are veterans and members of the GFWC.
Oh my gosh!
So, and I think it's cost like $150,000 to rent the plane.
Oh my goodness!
To put them up in hotels, to whatever.
Right.
Feed them. Yeah. So that's coming up.
That is wonderful. Yeah, there's fewer women actually from that time period. Those ladies were tough too.
But don't you know, we had a district meeting, and we looked asking the audience if there were any women vets, and sure enough, 2 people in the audience, and they weren't that old. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we take young vets too.
Yeah, that's great.
You don't just have to take the ones that are that the World War II are the ones you're trying to get the older ones, I guess, there before it's too late,
right?
To have them be able to participate. But not everybody. There are a lot of vets that are all ages.
That's true.
Yeah, yes. They probably don't need an assistant to go with them.
Yes.
Yeah. But typically, that's what you do.
Where does the honor flight go to?
It goes
Normandy?
to
Arlington.
It takes them to Arlington.
Okay.
And they put them overnight in a hotel, and they feed them. They take them to the changing of the guard at the Arlington.
Oh yeah.
And then they get to
Tomb of
go
the Unknown
around and
Soldier.
tour and whatever. And I think they have 2 nights hotel, if I'm not mistaken, and then they bring them back. So it's quite an experience.
Yeah. What a
know.
project.
Yeah. But and for some, it's going to see the wall if they were a Vietnam vet, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it was a really good idea to do it for women.
Yes.
Specifically, because
Perfect.
so often it's mostly men.
Yes.
Yeah. And they forget about the nurses, think about it.
There is a statue to the nurses in D.C. I can't remember exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be fun. So tell me, the nursing home is another, that was one of the early, so you grew up here?
Yes, my grandfather on my father's side moved in 1933, and I actually did his genealogy, and he lived in Shenandoah when he first moved down
Get
here.
out.
Yes, yes.
Well,
And so did my mother's family. They moved down later, but they also, it's really a landing place. They both rented homes. They didn't own them.
Yeah, right.
But Shenandoah really is
And where
a
did they come
landing
from?
place. My grandfather came from Philadelphia.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So from the Northeast.
And then on my grandmother's side, my great-grandfather was a chef at the Royal Palm Hotel.
Oh my goodness.
So he came in 1926, and,
Oh, wow.
and they took the boat. They
Well,
took
wait a
the
minute.
boat
Wasn't
down. They say.
26? Was that the hurricane?
Yes, they were here for the hurricane.
Wow.
Yes, but he would come down seasonally, and then they finally made the move in 1926. They were from New York.
They made the move before or after the hurricane?
Before.
Oh my gosh. So they
Unfortunately, yes, they
experienced
did.
it, huh?
And the hurricane was another reason why people decided to move out of downtown, because they felt like if they went out west, which makes sense, to Shenandoah, that it was a safer place to be because a lot of them experienced it.
Okay.
So there was an influx there too. And it was also a very large Jewish population. They had many synagogues there, and many of the residents were Jewish.
And are they still there, the synagogues as well?
The synagogue is now a church, and it's really amazing because you can see the synagogue and you can see the Star of David, and on top, outside, over the front doors, and on top of the Star of David is a cross.
Oh,
so
my
they
goodness.
left the Star of David,
that was
so at least you
nice.
can see the layers of history, and that's just like the neighborhood. It's like layers. So then the Jewish population were there until the 40s, and then in the 50s, during the Cuban Revolution, it became a place for Cuban immigrants. So a lot of Cuban band players, in fact, 2 of the homes both had Cuban band leaders or players that played on Miami Beach living in the homes.
Oh, so that's
Yes.
another, like you said, another layer.
Another layer, yes. And Russian immigrants too,
Oh, yeah.
which is
that
why
makes sense.
the church, the former first mayor of Miami's home is now a Russian Orthodox church, which is also on the tour.
Yeah. So that'll be walk in history. This is going to be a true walk in history.
Yes.
Yeah. So did you go to school here? Obviously.
Yes,
Where?
I did. I went to Epiphany and then Lord's Academy.
Oh, yeah. Nice Catholic girl.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we won't go there.
Well, actually, when I first moved here, I went to Epiphany for a while.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, it was a great
Every time I moved,
experience.
because when you first come here, you're renting. So wherever
Right.
you rented, you find the church closest to you. Yeah.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So, and now, where do you live now?
We live in a historic house in Coral Gables on University Drive.
How appropriate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Old house.
Yeah, there you go. And what was it like? Did you have to restore it?
We did restore it. A lot of the original features, we still had a lot of the original light fixtures, the doors, the door handles. The garage and apartment above it, we completely redid from the ground up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've kept as many of the historic elements that we could.
And have you ever been on the tour?
No, I haven't. But maybe when we go back to Coral Gables, I
There you
will.
go,
Yeah.
you know. I was going to say.
You have to be ready for prime time.
Yeah, it's like they give you a couple of years' notice and say, oh, by the way,
Yes.
we'd like you on the tour in 2026.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And then you have
Plan
to get everything
ahead.
fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Figure out what you're going to do and what you're going to rope off, because you
Well,
have to rope off
Yes,
stuff.
you do. And it's a
Yeah.
good incentive, I guess, to fix those things that you've been
I
trying
know,
to do.
actually, yeah. I would think that some people may say, okay, this gives us a deadline.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, my husband can't put this off anymore. Kind of thing. When you have chores to do.
Yeah.
So, so what else do you want? Let's talk about the upcoming garden tour. You go from one thing right.
We're already planning the garden tour.
Well, you have to be.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Our events are always the first Saturday. So it's the first Saturday in March, which is March 8th. And it's going to be in the same area that it was last year in High Pines, Pinecrest area. We usually have about 5 or 6 gardens.
Well, there's such a wealth of gardens here.
There is. And the lots are a little big in that area, a little bigger.
Yeah, most of them are at least an acre.
Yes, at least. A builder's acre.
It's half acre and acre only in Pinecrest,
right.
I think.
Yes, which is nice.
Yeah,
you don't
great.
find that. So
I
it's
used
not
to live
historic.
on a half acre.
Yes, it's nice.
Yeah.
And the boutique is going to be at the Lutheran Church across from Pinecrest Gardens. Christ the King. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it is. They've always been very supportive.
Yeah, plenty of parking and
yes,
and a nice big room where you can do everything.
Yes.
I took a quilting class there once.
And the villagers gave them a grant to restore. They have 2 big copper doors in the front of the sanctuary, I guess, when you enter. And the village a couple of years back gave them a grant to restore those.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
That must have been a hefty price tag.
Yes. Well, probably a portion of it. I don't know that we
underwrote the whole thing.
We help as much as we possibly can to, help people finish their complete projects.
Yeah.
Some projects can be completed with the grant, but a lot of them are roofs, foundations, windows, doors, hurricane windows and doors. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I know Poor Woman's Club had to replace their windows in an historic building with the hurricane. Oh, what a...
But you have to save the shell.
I know.
It's important.
Well, you have to...
It's not sexy, but it has to be done. Yeah.
So we might fin our 40-year inspection.
And that's what really has prompted a lot of grants, are the 40 and in many cases the 80, because you have to do it every 40 years. So...
Well, I thought they're changing it now to 10-year inspections.
Probably Gloria, because
we were laughing because by the time we finish our 40-year, we've got a couple of years before the 10-year inspection.
Yes, and they used to not be so diligent about them. You'd get a engineer and they'd look at it and sign a piece of paper, but unfortunately since the catastrophe,
no, everybody is
which is it's a good thing, but it really has prompted a lot of need in the community.
Yeah,
for shoring up the buildings, which they need to be.
David Williams.
Yeah,
that one. That's got to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doesn't have a pool on the roof. I mean, I think it used to have a pool on the roof. Which is never a good idea to put a heavy water on the top floor, but they used to do it. Yeah. I guess they still do it.
Colonnade.
Right.
Theirs is upstairs.
Yes.
A lot of them are upstairs.
Yeah, they are, because there's no space. You're taking up precious parking space, I guess, if you put a pool on the ground.
Yeah. Besides, it's prettier to have it up. Because you've got a nice breeze.
True.
You can have parties out there. No, there's a good reason to have it.
There is. You're right.
So, believe it or not, our time is up.
Oh my goodness, this was so much fun.
So tell me, what last words? What do you want to tell us about?
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't say this is Give Miami Week 2.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and so the villagers have always had strong support in the community. So when you're looking at everyone you want to give money to, please remember us. And the home tour, Saturday, December 7th from 10 to 3.
10 to 3. And it starts out at St. Sophia.
St. Sophia. And also Dr. Paul George from History Miami. He will be doing 2 private walking tours in the morning. So you can get your tickets for that too. He lives in Shenandoah, so he has a lot of history, yes.
So that's a separate ticket?
Yeah, it's an add-on ticket.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do you find out about the add-on ticket?
It's online on Eventbrite, and you can purchase your tickets there. You just go to the Villagers website.
If you go to the Villagers Inc.
Yes.
Is that what it is? The villagersinc.org?
Yes, thevillagersinc.org.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be great. So, So look into that, and look forward to seeing him. He's a great guy.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about bringing history alive.
He
has this wonderful ability to tell a great story and put you back in time.
He does. He's
Yeah.
like glazed potato chips. You can't go on one of his walking tours. Once you get a taste of it, you just have to keep going back.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, we have 3 minutes. Thank you again for coming,
Thank
Kelley.
you, Gloria.
You're amazing. And
Thank you.
I'm so looking forward to the home tour. And for all of you watching, thank you for tuning in today. And make it a good week and have a very happy